Hello? What's up, y'all? Just waiting for Joe to log in here. My first time doing this as an interview. So, the. Alright, sorry. Until he gets on, I'm basically going to explain what I'm doing. So, until he. What's up? I can't even see who that is. It's a Facebook user. Let me try to find the comment. I don't know. Anyways, what my basic thing is Joe is somebody local from my community. Um, That's why I talked to him a lot, and I bumped it with him to him one day at a cigar lounge. Started chopping it up, and come to realize that he was "What's up, bro?" Look, he had a lot. He was a lot like me in some sense, and we, we lived, we grew up down the street from each other. I lived in a nice rent. He lived in a rough rent, but all the same, it's literally like 5 minutes away. But you know, just got tied up into some. We've all been tied up into some bullshit. But I started talking to him, and I really got fascinated by, how far he's come, and he still lives in his neighborhood. You know what I mean? He still lives in his neighborhood. He still does his thing, and he's made something for himself. And that's why I think it's a great story to share. Kind of wait for John. But what's up, Richard? So that's why I think it's a great story to share. I think it's how you get there. Right? Like I said, we're not going to talk about the numbers, money, or anything like that. You know, virus scan. But anyways, you know, until he gets on here, that's what it's about. It's about how do people who make mistakes in their life, get the courage to find out how to be better or change your surroundings, or you know, is it you have to drop your friend? Can you keep your friend? You have friends that are going to think that they're, um, that you kind of like turned your back on them and they feel a certain way, stuff like that. And it's none of that. It's just that your path is different in life, and they're not they're on something different, and so you guys don't really have much relatable, even though you're still friends. I don't know, stuff like that. That's what I like to talk about. I'm trying to. He gets on here. When I ask him, you know. So like I said, I like stories of how people decide to change more than this Joe. Okay, here we go, Joe. Mr. Joe Zuniga. I'll make you bigger. What up, Joe? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, brother?
Good. Hold on, let me. Is my volume up? Is your volume up
It
all the
should
way
be.
up?
I think
I can
so.
barely,
Let me see. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you. Probably because I have headphones on. You don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I should have put my headphones on.
I'm also pretty deaf.
Um,
A small machine.
I think. Yeah, I think it's all the way up.
It's all good. I mean, I can hear you. Just can't hear you like loud. Weird.
Let me see. How about there? Put it in a little bit closer.
All right. But anyways, Joe, introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are, where you're from, what neighborhood you're from, whatever you want to say. And,
What's up, Carlos? So, my name is Joe Zuniga. from Ruskin. I'm a business owner of Zuniga Marketing, a full service marketing and advertising agency. I'm also an award winning recording artist. I'm a published author and an inspirational speaker. So, oh, I'm also the honorary mayor in our small little town here. Yeah.
Good connect right here.
What
So
was that?
that's a good connect right here.
Yeah, brother. And I just made me a little pot of coffee too. So,
So tell me your back history, man. Whatever you want to share. Like, okay, you grew up. I know you grew up in a little rough part of Ruskin, stuff like that. But I guess the question I had is, whatever you're open to sharing is, how did you, you know, I know a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends from the same area. Like, how do you go from point A to point B? Like, okay, so we'll start with what are you willing to share of your past, and then I'll ask what was it that you did, you know, change.
well, I think, man, bro, I think just like most of us from Ruskin, man, that grew up, I grew up in La Colonia, Ruskin, you know what I mean? Um, so I think a lot of us have a shaky past, and we made some mistakes in the past that you know kind of led us in a rough path, a rough journey compared to where we're at right now. But I think a lot of it has to do with perseverance, man. The want and the need to do better than what we've done before. And I don't know, man. I think I wanted to break those chains. I wanted to see people in our community accomplish more than you know what we've seen in the past, and so I challenged myself, man, to do better. And I think that's what's worked out for me, and I continue to do that. So, and I try to inspire that into a younger crowd as well, man. Get involved with the community, um, get more, set goals for yourself, and don't go too extravagant where you're gonna you're thinking you're gonna you know become president or whatever. You can, of course, that's always something you can do, but in the meantime, set small goals to where you can reach them within a certain few months. You know what I mean? And
I would say, how do you
and
like
create that
your
type of plan.
community is like that?
How does it what?
Like, how did you decide to set goals like that? Was there somebody came along, gave you some advice, or because everybody around you is not really doing that? So how did you decide on making those moves without really having, unless you had a mentor at one point or even a minute or two? How did you decide to do that?
Well, it's funny because I do advise a lot of people to get mentors and stuff like that. Get hang around people that are gonna elevate you to the next level. Um, for me, it didn't happen that way. For me, the people that I was around with were all dealing in drugs and in gangs and stuff like that, and or my environment. If it wasn't with that, it was with just working. Our mentality was if you work hard, you'll be fine in life and stuff like that. But I think a part of me wanted more when I was younger, which led me to the wrong path, and I got into the whole illegal um, type of business, which landed me in prison. And that kind of became a wake up call because once I was put into that path, that's when I started meeting people that almost became like mentors to me. So throughout my journey, you know, I would meet an older gentleman, and when I was in prison, I met I believe about 3 or 4 older gentlemen that really instilled some new type of thinking in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they gave me great advice, man, which is what I live by even up to now. And I think that's what we all need too, man. I think I try to tell these young folks out here these days, like, look, man, you know, look up to somebody, talk to them. In fact, try to even ask people to be your mentors. You know what I mean? There's professional people out here that were willing to be mentors, but you gotta simply ask them because that's this guidance that you're gonna need. You don't get that at home. We're not gonna listen to our family members because even if our family members is successful, you know what I mean. It's hard for us to listen to a family member or to a really close friend or something.
Did you
And
ever, when you started meeting these people, you started meeting these people, right? Did
right.
you ever, were you ever insecure about like feeling about how your place, feel like you didn't belong, like didn't you type of people that gonna judge you, like, I'm just gonna be some dude from another guy from Ruskin in California, just like bottom of the barrel. I mean, did you think that you would be judged?
Yeah, I mean that automatically comes with the program. You know what I mean? People automatically assume that just because you're from Ruskin, what do you don't got no pull. For example, when I was running for the mayor thingy, I had quite a few of friends, man. Were like, man, there's no way you're gonna win that, man. White folks around here ain't gonna let you win that crap.
Right.
And because that's the mentality, you know what I mean, that we have. Like, we have no power here. We have no representation. That it's that we can't accomplish that. And I told him, like, man, you crazy, man. I'm like, I'm gonna win this thing, man. Just watch. And because we can do way more than what we think we can. And it's crazy when you're put into a situation where you realize you can accomplish way more than when you didn't accomplish. It's like survival mode. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like being in a fight. You never thought you can whoop somebody's butt till you actually had to do it in order to survive. So it's crazy. It's something that I think a lot of us need to overcome. And it's like a horse with paradigms. You don't see what you're able to accomplish unless you take those paradigms off.
What made you go into all the different aspects of your different parts of your career, your music, your marketing, your like what made you do multiple things? Like what what I mean? What wrote a book and stuff like that. So like what makes you do that? You know what I mean? Like what is
It's crazy, man. I think it's more like the universe coming together. Things fall into place once you start doing right, and you get yourself on that road that you're supposed to be on. Things start just falling into place. You know what I mean? When
yeah,
you're
no,
not when you're not on that road, stuff always happens. You know what I mean? You're like, man, well, nothing goes right in my life, and this and that. This and that. Well, you're on the wrong path, bro. Get yourself right. You know what I mean? If you get yourself right, things will fall into place, and blessings will start coming. And that's how it worked with me. When I was a kid, I always loved music, so I would always carry my brother-in-law's guitar with me everywhere.
mm,
And till it came to the point when I was around 12, 13, he his keyboard player quit, so he started teaching me how to make keyboards, and that's how I got into the music thing. So I became a musician. I started jamming out, and I always wanted to record music and stuff like that. But even back then, I was like, oh yeah, I can't reach that level of. I used to see people like Emilio Navaida, La Mafia,
yeah,
all these Tejano bands back in the day. I'm like, yeah, there's no way in the world I could reach that, but it would be cool. It would be so awesome. So when I when I went to prison, that's what the huge wake up call that I had. I was like, I came out with the mentality that, what, I can accomplish all this stuff, man. There's no way in the world that I can't do none of this. And that's when I went and recorded my first song, and I was like, I put this marketing plan together, and I launched it myself, and it worked. Everything came accordingly. It nominated to the number one the Tejano charts, and they got me a nomination to the Tejano Music Awards. And it was like when I was there, I was like, wow, you know what I mean? I can't believe I accomplished this. This is
yeah, yeah.
crazy. Yeah, and so forth. You know what I mean? After that is, I would write songs, I would write music, and I always said. Then I started thinking, I was like, I'm gonna write my own book. I want to write my autobiography. my life, everything I've been through, and stuff like that. But I got to meet Deborah Beasley, and she ended up giving me her story, which is the book that I wrote. And that just happened as well because we had a conversation, and she's like, "Well, you can write about me as well. I mean, anybody can." So she gave me all her personal writings, and that's when I wrote the book of Deborah LaFave. And because so that kind of happened as well without even planning it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then music, I mean, the marketing. I wanted to build a company that had to do with the entertainment industry a little bit. So I figured, you know what, let me put together this marketing agency where we're producing commercials, we're putting people on TV, on radio. So it's kind of like dealing with media. I mean, not kind of. I do deal with media, which is very similar to the entertainment. So whenever I retire from the music stuff or singing, and I just, you know, focus on my company, I'll still be involved in media. You know what I mean? Which is
Right, 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 right.
cool to me. Like I enjoy it for the video productions, everything. And then so that's how I got into the whole marketing stuff. And it's dealing with people, man. I love working with people. I love meeting new people, um, and I like being involved. So, which
Do
is
you ever
why
have my
the
bad? Do you
what?
ever have any friends from the block from the past? And like, oh, Joe thinks he's better than us. Joe's too good for us, and he's a switch out stuff like that. You ever get anything like that? Did you ever get anything like that?
That I was.
Yeah, like with people mad, like when you had your path right, and you started,
Mm,
you're like, some of your friends are still with that other shit, like, they would be like, oh, Joe's think he's better than us and stuff like that. So, what, did you have to deal with that? And what did you do? Did you stay friends with them, or did you try to put them on game, or anything, or what?
oh yeah, I mean, I think everybody and anybody who becomes some type of success is gonna have that, man. And, you're gonna have those people that are gonna be negative towards you. You gotta ignore them, bro. Because at the end of the day, what are they gonna do for you? It's basically I've learned to ignore them. I don't stop talking to them. I still talk to them. I talk to everybody and their mama, man, when I see them.
Yeah, I
So
know that. I know that.
yeah, yeah, you know that. So it's like I'm not gonna stress over people that you know look at me and say, oh, he thinks he's all that now because he goes to the whatever and you know whatever they gotta whatever negative they gotta say. I mean, to me, I just tell them, hey man, I still got nothing but love for you, man. I got nothing but love for my people in wrestling, regardless
Right.
whether you like me or not. And I try to represent my community as the best that I can. I try to do positive, man. That's what it's all about. One day I want to be gone and leave some type of legacy behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting though too, because you do these things, and usually people that come up, they move out of their communities, right? But you chose to stay. Why is that?
Here, bro. This is home, no matter what, man. I go, I go to Europe and cruise around and I have a great time and I love seeing all these new places. But at the end of the day, man, you just want to go home. You get home and you're like, oh, I'm here, man. I'm gonna go get me a Marianne sub or you know, something that you grew up with. Go down to Baha'i Beach, which Little Harbor now. We still call it Baha'i Beach.
Yeah.
Um, this is always going to be home, man. And I try to, give to my community as much as I can. That's why I stay involved with community stuff, man. I'm always doing fundraisers, community events like festivals. The festival's coming up, Ruskin Tomato Festival.
Yeah.
I'm so involved in all that stuff, man. And to me, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, helping out people. You know.
What makes you? I guess the question is like for me, when I try to give back, people kind of wonder why. What makes you want to give back? Me, you know, I kind of just answer. Well, for me, it's kind of like choosing karma, right? I believe in karma. I'm like, you know what? I did a lot of bullshit. And start looking back. Other people, there are other reasons. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, not only did you change your life, knowing start businesses, become the Ruskin mayor, but when you were doing all that in the beginning, starting your businesses, were you even focused on giving back? Were you even focused on that, or that just transpired after you became Ruskin mayor and started doing a little bit better for yourself?
Um, I think those opportunities came about from giving back, from working with the community. Like I didn't even learn about the Ruskin Mayor till I was doing a lot of community stuff. I remember we did fundraising events at the Firehouse Cultural Center,
Right,
and then after working with certain community leaders to fundraise, that's when I learned about the whole mayor thing. And they're like, hey, you know what? You should think about running since everybody knows you.
right, right,
And
right.
yeah, and then that's how that idea came about. So doors open, man. When you're on that path, opportunities just present itself. And there's other things that are happening now that I might put into my immediate future, man, to try to get it going. So I'm thinking about it, man. Juan, what's up, brother? I see you on. So, governor, yeah, one day we'll see what's up. But yeah, there's actually some other opportunities that I might be thinking about jumping on too, man. So we'll see if I do, I'll definitely make an announcement. See what happens.
The what was I gonna ask? So, oh yeah, you ain't gonna the yeah. Anyways, the tomato festival thing. Like what is that about? As far as that is a Ruskin community, just for the local people, you know what?
Well, it's a trip, man, because that the tomato festival's been happening since 1934.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it's been that long, and it all started. It started because of the whole all the farmers that were in the area. They wanted like the official event of the year where they can go and celebrate and then also work out politics and stuff like that back in the day.
right.
And then so as the years went by, it continued, man, and it was in celebration of the tomato season here. The only thing that back in the day, man, it was mainly about the farmers and their families and stuff like that. So La Raza was never involved in it. You know what I mean? I remember growing up and hearing about the tomato festival and stuff like that, and we went a couple times when I was a kid, and but it didn't seem very welcoming. I didn't feel very welcome. You know what I mean? The family and stuff like that. But now lately, we after a few years that it went a little bit under the radar because I think they stopped doing it for a few years. They brought it back in the 90s, and then it went away again. Then they brought it back in the 2000s, and now we brought it back. I'd say 2017. I think this is when I started working with them,
Right, right,
and I became one of the head organizers. And so we brought it back to 2017, and we try to make it a little bit more different, more inclusion, bringing Latinos in there and celebrate migrant worker, not just the farmer,
right,
uh, because migrant workers had a big part of our harvesting here.
right.
So it's part of our heritage también. So we started in 2017, and we're slowly bringing it back. Then pandemic happened, man, and killed it for these past couple of years, and now we're actually bringing it back again this year. So we're trying not to, and people who are all the locals know what it is because they grew up with it. But we having so many implants now, moving down here, we're trying to get them to see what Ruskin was all about back in the day. And it's gonna be pretty cool, man. We're gonna have live bands performing and lots of food vendors and arts and crafts vendors, and so it should be fun, man. We're gonna be selling tomato sandwiches and stuff like that. Yeah.
Ruskin
So
shit.
yeah, so it's cool. But
Oh,
it's a fundraiser, man, to help. I don't know if you know, but we got a community radio station. It's called 101.9 FM. It's from Ruskin. The antenna is right behind the firehouse cultural center. So these fundraisers help keep like something like that on the air. You know what I mean? We have expenses and stuff like that we need to pay, so we need to do fundraisers, and that's why I try to help out as much as I can.
I also got to ask you the motivational speaker part. Like, where is that? How's that coming? I know you could go to colleges and universities, and um, how
Yeah,
does
I
that?
started. Yeah, that and I started speaking. I started getting invited to speak at high schools and middle schools, and then I got invited to speak in front of like conferences. So it kind of became a thing now, and I learned that you can make a career out of speaking. This was a couple years ago. So I was like, how much to doing research and stuff like that. And I was like, man, these guys, they make good money doing that. So it just became another of revenue that I could include into my brand. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
don't have to just sing and perform. I can also go give a speech and get paid.
yeah,
Um, but not only that, after the first few, man, I learned that it actually helped people, man. It given my story inspired some people that I've met, and it made them want to do better for themselves as well. And it gave them a guide on if this guy can do this, I can do this. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, so now I became a professional inspirational speaker. I've been speaking at different locations. I just came back from Omaha a few months ago, giving a speech in Omaha, Nebraska. In a couple weeks, I'll be the keynote speaker for a graduation up at the University of North Georgia for their graduation ceremony. So stuff like that, man. And there's some conferences that are coming up that I'm going to go be a keynote speaker as well. And it's great, man, because people really sit there and listen to your story, man, and they come up after afterwards they come up to you and tell you how your story touched them and how they can relate to it and stuff like that. And at the same time, yeah, it's a great career, man. Eventually, I think that's what I want to do when I'm done with the music and the book signings and stuff like that. I want to just travel and give speeches everywhere.
Is
Yeah.
the speech is pretty much about like this right here? Like, okay, I got from point A and now I'm from point B. Like, is it mostly like that, or is it
Yeah,
just
my
has
speeches.
something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So my speeches really, depends on who you go listen to speak. Mine pertain more on overcoming adversity, on the importance of education, of networking. So it all depends on who I'm speaking to, who my audience is. If they're college students or if they're a conference with business people, I direct my speeches towards them, and
Right.
they're either going to be either in education or overcoming adversity or business networking and entrepreneurship and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, man. It's a whole um, different industry, man. That at first I was super nervous about, but I think after doing a few better and better, and the only difference is like I always wing it, man. When I go give a speech, I just get up there and talk. And now that I got to do this speech next month, man, they're asking me to send if I can send them a copy of my speech. And I was like, yeah, about that. I was
It
like,
might change when I'm there, right?
yeah, it's definitely gonna change because I ain't reading that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hate
yeah.
I hate getting on top of in front of somebody and start reading a speech. It's not gonna be to me it's not authentic. You know what I mean?
You took yourself to college. Man. Did you take yourself to college to prison or after prison?
I only when I was in prison I took a couple of classes, but it wasn't free, so my mom and my sister were the ones paying for it. But then I was like, I told them just stop it. Don't worry about it. I'll just go to school when I get out. So when I got out is when I went back to college and finished it up. I got my degrees in business management from the Hillsborough County Community College, and then I got business and my bachelor's degree in business and political science economics and political science with a certification from the College of Business from the USF, the University of South Florida. And then I did a study of entrepreneurship in Europe as well. So I did all that
That's
when I got out, man. Yeah,
that's good, awesome, man.
yeah,
That's why I brought you here, man. Because that's when I first mentioned cigar bar and just started talking and shit, I was like, man, that's
yeah,
awesome. I like to see, I like to hear stories like this. And, I don't know why it surprised me, but when someone says, hey, I did this, I got
yeah,
a master's degree, I went to Europe, I'm doing all this shit. I'm like, damn, you know.
yeah.
Um, it's an
Oh yeah,
amazing.
man. Yeah, yeah. When I met you there, man, I was like, this guy. I was like, yeah, this guy's a go getter, man. That's why I automatically clicked with you, man, because you started asking me a bunch of questions, and I could see that you wanted to grow, man, and you wanted to further your status, which that's commendable, bro. Because if you don't have the ganas, the urge to do better, to go to the next level, then you're just living life day by, which
I
is
was gonna
fine,
ask you
but
something. When you got your college degree, so did you finish high school?
did I finish high school?
Yeah.
Actually, not high school. High school. I actually got kicked out of East Bay
Right.
because I'm telling you, I was with I was hanging around the wrong crowd back in high school, middle school. Doing stuff I wasn't supposed to.
So
So
how
when
were you able to go into a college setting? It's because of course if you don't go to school in high school, you're falling off.
right,
But how'd you go into a college setting and just be able to handle that shit, the work, like the understanding of the homework without having really a good back history of it's
yeah. Well, I went to my freshman year and then I got expelled and I wasn't allowed back. So as soon as I got out, I went to this organization called HEP, which is the High School Equivalency Program,
Mhm.
and they had one at USF, and it's a great organization. They help migrant students or ex-migrant students they help them get their high school diplomas.
Okay.
So yeah, I went through that program and I got my high school diploma with them. And you know, the director there was actually one of one of those people that influenced me in life. And he suggested that I would go. He wanted me to go straight to the university after that. And my plans weren't to go to the university or college or anything like that. But I was like, what, I won't go to the university, but I'll go to community college. I'll go try it out because I
Mhm.
didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't think I would ever graduate with a degree. That was my mentality back then. I couldn't see further than that high school diploma. And so I started going to Manatee Community College back in the day. And but that's when I was still doing wrong, hanging with the wrong crowd, making wrong choices. And soon after that is when I landed in prison. So when I went to prison, I already had my high school diploma, and when I got out, that's when I shaped up, and I was like, what, I can conquer the world, man. It's time for me to man up and handle my business,
Did you
and
have
that's
to do extra studying and extra like? I'm just saying, I just find
oh
it, even for me to take myself, I tried it. I didn't graduate.
yeah.
I went like a month, and I was like, hell no, I can't.
Well, it's a
That's
trip. Yeah, it's a trip you say that, man, because like I technically I missed all of high school. I only went to ninth grade, and I went from there straight up to college, and I had to do research papers. I remember my first semester in my English class, I had to do a 10-page research paper. I was like, what the heck is that? and but I still, I I think what I learned. Well, first of all, when I got my diploma, when you do the whole GED test and all that stuff, I had a perfect score in my math. I got a perfect score in it, and so they knew I was smart. They're like, "You're smart enough, man. Go. You can make it at the university. Go straight to the university and get it done." And I was like, "Nah, man. I don't see myself that I'm that smart for." But I think about it now, and I was like, "Yeah, it was," but I just didn't give myself enough credit for it. So when I went to the college, yeah, man, I was able to learn, all the algebra. I mean, I got to the point where I took business calculus. and I was doing international economics, and I skipped all of high school. So that just goes to show, man. If you have the mentality to learn this stuff, man, and you figure out problems, man, you can do anything you want. And I use that towards every course in college. I did my research paper the weekend before it was due. So, and all by research because I was like, I don't know how to do this, but let me Google stuff and find out what the heck is involved in it.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about stories like yours. But like some people don't even know they have it.
Yeah,
They don't believe they have it. Everybody else will tell them, "You got it, you got it." And they're like, "Ah, man," and it's crazy. And I have some friends that I see. I'm like, "Man, you're really talented, bro." And they're just like,
yeah.
"Ah," And it's just like, man, if they just would only believe in themselves, and it's
That's
crazy
what.
where things can go. It's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
that's one of the biggest problems is believing yourself. You're your own worst enemy. It's like your biggest critic is you. You know what I mean? And that's the main thing. Trying to get over that. I'm one of those that believes that every problem has a some way to fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can be resolved. You just gotta find it, man. You gotta find the answer for it. And I was the same way in college and school. And I'm one of those man that doesn't like taking notes or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I would do everything in my head. And to this point, I'm still like that. But yeah, man, and that's one of our main problems, and I think it's one of the main problems in kids these days. Which that's why they need people like us to influence them, to help them, guide them. You know what I mean? And tell them, hey, man, you can do this, bro. It's easier than what you think.
Yeah.
You know,
Just takes.
it's like Nike says, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool, man. It's a process, man. But I've grown a lot myself, and I still got much to learn too. But the knowledge that I get, I try to pass that along to the next person.
You're able to get any family members to follow you and graduate from college and go to college and stuff like that.
Where's the trip? It's a trip because when I got out, I'm the first one in the family to graduate from college, and I made sure to do that to break these generational chains, man. I got out, and now, thank God, I got a sister that just got a degree. I got a nephew that just got a degree. I got a niece that just got a degree. I got about, I think, 4 or 5 nephews and nieces that just got their degrees in college. So, and it's just the beginning, bro. It's just the beginning. That's why I made sure that when I got out of prison, I made sure to go get that degree myself, so I can tell them and show them, hey, if I can do this, I went to prison for 5 years. If I can get out and do this, you guys can get it coming out of high school. So get on the ball.
Did you get
Handle your
out
business.
to do those majors, or did that just kind of happen?
The majors that I chose,
Yeah.
well, I've always loved business. I love doing business, so I chose that. I mean, at first I had chosen physical therapy, but I quickly, yeah, quickly was like, yeah, this ain't me. It pays well, but I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be going to a 9 to 5 job, and I gotta be out free. You know what I mean? I want to be able to make my own decisions, make my own money, dictate that whenever I want. I want to dictate my own agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I chose business. And then when I got to the university, um, I was going to do international economics and political science. A lot of that had to do with me learning that you don't need specific um, titles or specific uh, area of study for to get a job out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to look you up and say, "Oh no, yeah, yeah, you can't get hired at human resources because you don't have a human resource degree." They just ask if you have a degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And I was closer to graduating with economics and political science than I was with the other ones. And reason behind that is because when I first started college, I didn't. Another thing, I didn't have somebody telling me what to do or advising me what to do. So I took classes that I didn't even need, man. And I didn't have nobody that, especially in the family, nobody had ever been to college, so they didn't help me say, hey, look, come here, let's sit down, let's go over your courses, or
Right.
and stick to these. That way, these are the ones that you're gonna need to graduate. And I didn't have none of that. I just kept taking classes. So I ended up having about at least 1 or 2 semesters of extra classes that I didn't even eat. I didn't even need for my degree.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So live and
Oh,
learn, man. It's live and learn.
yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
So a breakdown. Everybody that doesn't know, Joe does my, everybody that all my business owners and stuff like all those cool videos, and logos, lights,
Speak
stuff like
speak up a
that.
little bit.
So everybody that doesn't know that, the logos that I got and all that, the lightning and all the special effects and stuff,
Oh yeah.
Joe does for me and stuff like that. And not only did I know as far as the landscape lighting group, I'm not trying to bring a bunch of marketing people. I wasn't allowed all that, but it was more of a story that
Hmm.
I wanted to present. But I mean, at the same time, inspirational. So cool enough. And he's done jobs for a lot of the lighting people on here. So I figured, fair enough, you know, um,
Yeah.
let him share the story and give him a chance to shout out what he does. And I think he's worked hard for it and proved otherwise. So, no offense to all the other marketing guys that try to join. There's nothing to do with that. I just found Joe's story a little more inspiring, more reasonable, and more interesting. And as far as relationships goes,
Yeah.
I find a lot of value in it. So that's why, and if I find a lot of value in it, a lot of other guys will find a lot of value in it. Some of them already have too. So that's why I'm not saying. Well, plus he's the mayor of Ruskin, so I have to give him a pass, right? It's a Mayor Ruskin card. No, I'm gonna get pulled over one time. I'm gonna have to make a phone call.
Yeah, they might give you a bigger ticket, man. They're like, oh, you know that guy? Yeah, you're about to get double.
Nah, you're gonna lose your badge, man. You're not gonna be able to patrol the Ruskin streets no more.
Bro, man. Even I gotta watch my back too. I'm like, who the heck is what cop is that behind me?
Right?
It's funny, man. I do like morning coffees with a bunch of the officers around here, and I'm like, yo, man, y'all need to stop pulling up, driving up behind me like that, man. Y'all be freaking me out, man. And I get flashbacks from back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. You laugh and joke with some cops now. I mean, there's some cops that are still cops. Even when I was
Oh yeah, yeah,
okay, like you still out here,
yeah, yeah,
still out here. Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's playing. No, no,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Back in the day, man, you wouldn't even catch me, saying hi to none of the dudes. But now, man, I've gotten to meet a bunch of them. I'm friends with the state attorney. He's a good guy.
yeah,
So what you got to do, man. You got to meet people, man, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day,
yeah. You know
you
what it is, man. It's also like accountability, right? Like
right?
I have a friend. I ain't gonna say her name. Another friend, but I had a friend that grew up out here. They became a cop, and one of my friends was arrested, and they were kind of worried about. I said, "Listen, man. Like when it comes down to it, you have a job to do, and a boy's doing wrong. He's doing wrong. Like there's no, you can't feel
Yep.
bad about that. You know, what I mean, you went separate paths in life. You went the right way. You went the wrong way, and the cross paths again. And at the same time, he might thank you later. You know what I mean? Because
That's
break
right. Yeah,
prison stuff like that will change his life as well. But um, just about accountability. I think the biggest part of maturing and getting out of that mind of frame of thinking is just being accountable, and that's why you can shake hands with cops. That's why you can
yep,
laugh with them. You realize, look, man, like I was creating my own hell, like my own beef with you. I mean, yeah, you have some bad apples. It is what it is, but the majority and most of
yeah,
the time, it's just because you're a knucklehead and you just find an excuse to be
yeah.
hostile.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways,
No, I get it, man.
not to wrap it up too much, but just tell me again everything you do and say whatever you want to say the last 5 minutes or whatever. And
Well, whoever's listening, man, you guys ever need any, you got any questions? Send me a message. You guys can find me on all social media outlets. Joe Zuniga TV, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Uh, everywhere. If you well, it's called Deborah LaFave, A Crown of Beauty for Ashes. And my music as well is all over iTunes, Spotify, and all that stuff. Got a question?
So, so people that don't know Deborah Faith from our area in Ruston, she was a blonde teacher who slept with the student, and our judge was like, she's too pretty, or the state, who was it? The state that said that? She or her attorney said that she was too pretty for prison. Where'd that phrase come in?
Yeah, her attorney.
Okay, her attorney's pretty
Yeah.
for prison, slept with the student, then, everybody was just like, whoa, you know what I mean? So that's what that book is about. She's kind of famous for something bad. Favorite.
It's a good book, man. I mean, she turned, just like us, man. She turned her life around too, and mom has 3 kids. The book is super interesting, man, and it gives you a lot of story, the whole from beginning to end. So just like us, man, we came from the ashes. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I wanted to write something similar that I could kind of relate to, because we all make mistakes in the past, and I just wanted to give that full raw story, just unbiasedly. I mean, it's up to the reader to still judge her, whatever they want to. It's their right. To me, I just wrote the facts, and hopefully people at least enjoy the book and buy it. That's the main thing. So,
Is it on Amazon?
and she don't make any money off of it either. So
Is it still on? Is it like
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and all. Yeah. As well, if you want to follow me on YouTube, you can hear all my music videos, and my music on iTunes, Apple, everything. So just type
and
in.
what do you mostly?
It's a mix.
What kind of style of music?
It's a mix. It's a mix of regional mexicano and tejano and norteño, and I also got one country song out there. So I'm recording more regional mexicano songs and a few more tejano songs and some country songs as well. And it's in the works right now. So hopefully in the next couple months you'll start hearing some new music come out. Post pandemic, man, the pandemic put everything on hold, so I gotta kickstart it again. So
Cool.
yeah. Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting year, man. Yeah.
So Joe Zuniga, prison to politics to marketing to music to motivational speaker to still things to come.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just starting, man. Just beginning. There's
Oh, my bad. College degrees, college educates, you know,
yeah.
from the gutter to rags to riches, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's appreciate, man. I appreciate you having me on your podcast, man. It's interesting. So keep at it, man. You're doing big things, man. I like what I see.
Appreciate
So
it.
yeah, I know it's definitely gonna take off for you. So
Oh, we'll have
don't
a
stop.
cigar later.
Huh?
We'll have a cigar later.
Yeah, brother. Give me a holler.
All right, Joe.
All right, man. You be safe.
You too.
You guys.
Peace.